Robert Plant is now over 75. How he lives is sad. Do you really know about the tragic life behind the spotlight of Robert Plant, the legendary rock singer? The reality is far from the glittering facade we often see. Throughout his nearly 8-decade existence, he faced devastating personal losses and life-threatening accidents. From the heart-wrenching death of his young son, Karash, in 1977, which nearly drove him to abandon music altogether, to surviving 2 near-fatal car accidents that left him and his first wife severely injured. This video will unveil the harrowing obstacles he faced, revealing a side of his story that might take you by shock. Prepare to be astonished by the resilience of Robert Plant. Let's dive in. Robert Plant, a name that echoes in the halls of rock music history. As the frontman of Led Zeppelin, his potent vocals, magnetic stage aura, and lyrical genius captivated countless fans. Yet beneath his triumph lies a tale of sorrow concealed for decades. In this video, we'll peel back the layers of Robert's life, unveiling the deep-seated secrets and the narrative of adversity that shadowed him. Let's plunge into the story, Robert's blissful beginnings. Born on August 20th, 1948, Robert Anthony Plant first opened his eyes in the industrial hub of West Bromwich, Staffordshire, England. His parents were Robert C. Plant, a civil engineer and a Royal Air Force veteran of World War II, and Annie Celia Plant, a woman of Romani descent. His childhood was filled with joy, largely thanks to his mother, Annie Celia Plant. A Romani woman, she was known for her suitably and joyfully combustible spirit, as Plant himself described in a BBC's Desert Island Discs interview. From his early years, Robert Plant was drawn to singing and the electrifying world of rock and roll. He aspired to emulate Elvis Presley, the undisputed king of rock and roll. In a 1994 interview with Andrew Denton on the Denton Talk Show, Plant reminisced about his childhood Elvis impersonations. "When I was a kid, I used to hide behind the curtains at home at Christmas, and I used to try and be Elvis. There was a certain magic between the curtains and the French windows. There was a certain music there for a 10-year-old. That was all the music I got at 10 years old, and I always wanted to be a bit similar to that." But realizing this dream was no cakewalk. He encountered obstacles right from the outset. Robert Plant's duel with digits and tunes. Robert Plant grappled with the age-old tug-of-war between desire and reality early in his life. His musical passion was at odds with his father's wish for a more conventional career for him. But where did it all start? Let's turn back time and explore the roots of this clash. It all began when Robert, a mere 9-year-old, was crooning Elvis Presley songs into his hairbrush. His love for music was apparent from a tender age, and even his father acknowledged his talent, taking him to the local blues club, 7 Stars. Little did his father realize that this would become the incubator for Plant's musical dreams, as he honed his skills with the house band, the Delta Blues Band. In a BBC's Desert Island Discs interview, Plant illuminated the generational divide that sparked the conflict. His father, like many of his generation, couldn't grasp the concept of earning a livelihood through music. To them, a real job was something more traditional, like accountancy. Thus, the stage was set for a face-off between father and son, with digits on one side and tunes on the other. But what's your take? Do you think Robert's father was right in nudging him towards a more conventional career path? Share your views in the comments section. Despite his father's doubts, Plant found himself pursuing an undergraduate degree in finance and accounting at the London School of Economics. It appeared as though he was on track to meet his father's expectations, but destiny intervened. After a mere fortnight, Plant ditched his accounting studies to chase his true love, music. Despite dropping out, he retained some skills that proved beneficial for Led Zeppelin, saving them a fortune on their tours. For instance, he once proposed renting a jet and sleeping on it instead of shelling out for countless hotel rooms. But just prior to this, he endured a significant emotional upheaval while battling for his passion, paying a hefty price. After all, it often takes a rebel with a cause to revolutionize the world. Robert Plant's pursuit of autonomy. Little did Robert Plant know that his bold decision to quit school at 17 would result in him becoming one of the most iconic voices in rock history. His pursuit of autonomy led him to the blues scene in the English Midlands, where he refined his musical abilities and discovered the diverse range of blues and other genres that would later shape his career. "I left home at 17, Plant reminisced, and I started my real education musically, moving from group to group, furthering my knowledge of the blues and of other music which had weight and was worth listening to. This choice to prioritize his love for music over traditional education paved the way for an extraordinary journey filled with unexpected twists and turns. Plant's early influences encompassed legendary blues artists like Johnson, Bukka White, Skip James, Jerry Miller, and Sleepy John Estes. As he immersed himself further into the music world, he took on various jobs to keep the wolf from the door, including working for the prominent British construction company Wimpey in Birmingham and even a stint at Woolworths in Halesowen Town. During this period, he released 3 obscure singles on CBS Records and performed with a range of bands, each experience contributing to his evolving musical persona. A crucial turning point in Plant's journey was his involvement with the Crawling King Snakes, a band that introduced him to drummer John Bonham. Their collaboration eventually birthed the Band of Joy, where they skillfully blended blues with emerging psychedelic trends, laying the groundwork for their future triumphs. However, Plant's pursuit of his musical dreams came with a price. His decision to join the Crawling King Snakes greatly distressed his parents, leading to a period of tense relations. Reflecting on this tumultuous time, Plant commented, "Well, I was bound for a proper job and I've got one." It was a touching reminder of the sacrifices he had to endure to follow his passion. Despite the hurdles and initial disapproval from his parents, Plant's tenacity and talent ultimately prevailed. He forged a successful path in music, defying the traditional route society had laid out for him. Reflecting on those pivotal years, Plant pondered, "I had my moment of professional potential, and because I didn't accept it, I had to leave home when I was 17. So I toughened up pretty quickly. I made my peace with my parents a couple of years later, but it was good. It was what it should be." Robert Plant's auditory epiphany. Back in 1963, a 15-year-old Robert Plant stood on the brink of an auditory epiphany. His friends and classmates were part of a band called the Jurymen, and unbeknownst to him, his life was on the verge of a dramatic shift. As per Jurymen guitarist Gary Tolley, Plant initially began as a roadie, hauling their equipment and absorbing the music without actually stepping into the limelight. However, destiny had a different script for him. When the band's vocalist fell sick, Plant was catapulted into the spotlight at the Bull's Head pub in Lye. With apprehension coursing through his veins, he ascended the stage and delivered a performance that would chart the trajectory of his future. The specifics of that pivotal gig are veiled in conflicting narratives. Plant himself remembers feeling anxious and avoiding eye contact with the audience, at least until 1968. Conversely, Juryman drummer John Dudley portrays a self-assured and charismatic Plant effortlessly owning the stage. Regardless of the actual truth, one fact remains undisputed. Plant's potent voice made a lasting impression on the audience that night. As time marched on, Plant found himself intersecting paths with 2 seasoned musicians, Jimmy Page and John Paul Jones. This trio would eventually birth one of the most iconic rock bands in history, but the journey to that point was fraught with unexpected twists and turns. In the late 1960s, Page and Jones were already well-established figures in the music industry. Jones had lent his skills to artists like Donovan and Jeff Beck, while also creating the iconic string arrangement for the Rolling Stones' "She's a Rainbow." Meanwhile, Page was on a quest for the ideal vocalist to complete their musical vision. His first choice, Terry Reid, couldn't join due to existing commitments, leading him to suggest Plant as a fitting alternative. Little did they know this suggestion would lay the foundation for a legendary alliance. Aligning with Page and Jones was an intimidating prospect for the young Plant. If you like this video, please leave a number 9 in the comments below. He found himself amidst musicians radiating self-assuredness and experience, which initially left him feeling somewhat overwhelmed. It wasn't until around 1970 to 1971 that Plant truly blossomed as a performer. Amidst all this, Robert discovered love. He found comfort in the embrace of Maureen Wilson. Their romance sparked in 1966 at a cancelled Georgie Fame concert, where Wilson became his rock-solid pillar of support. While Plant pursued his musical aspirations, Wilson was the anchor, her hard work and dedication keeping their life stable. from obscurity to unaccredited. Back in 1968, a young Robert Plant was just another hopeful musician in the crowd. Armed with a record contract and a handful of songs, he was far from being a household name. Strangely, despite his undeniable talent and self-assuredness as an artist, his name was conspicuously absent from the song credits of Led Zeppelin's debut album. It's a mystery that would baffle even Sherlock Holmes. You see, Plant was entangled in a troublesome contract with CBS Records, which barred him from receiving any credit for the songs on the album. This legal snarl left him unacknowledged for his contributions to one of the most iconic rock albums of all time. It's like hitting the jackpot but being unable to cash in your winnings. Talk about a heartbreaking twist of fate. But just when you thought things couldn't get any grimmer, disaster struck. A horrifying collision. Back in 1970, Robert Plant was living the dream. He was the lead singer of the wildly successful band Led Zeppelin, blissfully married to Maureen Wilson, and relishing life on a farm in rural England with their baby daughter Carmen and a collection of pets. But unbeknownst to him, he was on the brink of not one, but two near-death car accidents that would forever alter his life. The first encounter with mortality came during a copyright infringement trial over the iconic song Stairway to Heaven. Plant found himself in a courtroom, being interrogated about attending a spirit concert and playing snooker with one of the band members. His response, "I don't remember any of it." Why, you wonder? Well, it turns out he had just survived a horrific car crash. According to Plant, his wife had sustained a fractured skull, and he had a shard of the windshield lodged in his head. As if that wasn't enough, fate had another brutal surprise in store for Plant. In 1975, while holidaying on the Greek island of Rhodes with his family and Jimmy Page's daughter, they were caught in yet another car accident. This time, Plant broke his right leg and elbow, while Maureen suffered even graver injuries, including a fractured skull and pelvis. It was nothing short of a miracle that they all survived, except for little Scarlett Page, who astonishingly remained unharmed. But being the tenacious rock star that he is, Plant didn't let these calamities deter him. Despite being wheelchair-bound for months, he managed to record the 1976 album Presence with the monumental track Achilles' Last Stand, initially nicknamed the Wheelchair Song. Now that's what we call transforming adversity into creativity. It's fair to say that Robert Plant has indeed weathered some terrifying experiences, but like a true rock legend, he's emerged stronger than ever. But the stormy days were far from over. The unforgettable concerto of hardship. Back in 1977, the legendary band Led Zeppelin found themselves in a bit of a quandary. After a few turbulent years, including a semi-hiatus due to lead singer Robert Plant's unfortunate car accident, they were keen to reclaim their throne as the reigning rock gods. However, the music scene had evolved with the emergence of punk rock, and their 1976 album, Presence, didn't quite resonate. Determined to prove to the world they still had the magic, the band embarked on a world tour, but as fate would have it, things went south right from the get-go. Plant lost his voice, leading to tour dates being rescheduled. Finally hitting the road in April, they were ready to dominate the stage once again. Then came that dreadful day, July 26, 1977. Plant received not one but two heart-wrenching phone calls. The first brought the devastating news that his son Carrick was critically ill. The second call shattered his world. Carrick, just 5 years old, had passed away. Just a week earlier, Plant's daughter Carmen had been ill but had thankfully recovered. When Carrick fell ill, it seemed like the usual stomach bug. Little did they know it would take a tragic turn. Plant immediately left the tour and rushed home. Understandably, the rest of the tour was cancelled. With all that transpired, Plant found himself at a crossroads, and the burden of grief and loss led him to make a life-changing decision, from microphone to blackboard. When Robert Plant exited the music scene, he didn't just step aside. He retreated to the family's farmhouse and embarked on a mission to rebuild the shattered pieces of his life. In his own words, he tried to put it together while wrestling with the loss of his son. If you like this video, please leave a number 9 in the comments below. Music, once his lifeblood, no longer held the same charm. As he openly admitted to Charlie Rose in 2012, there were priorities that superseded being a performer. The glamour of the rock star lifestyle lost its appeal in the face of personal tragedy. In a candid interview with Rolling Stone, Plant laid bare his soul, expressing his profound desire to be with his family. The loss of his son had created a void that even the fame and wealth of Led Zeppelin couldn't fill. It was a turbulent period, and Plant considered a career shift, seeking something more meaningful and less egocentric. In a moment of introspection with GQ, he recognized the inherent insecurity that often haunts entertainers and yearned for a more sincere and modest path. His unexpected solution? To apply for a teaching role at the Rudolf Steiner Waldorf schools in the West Midlands. As Plant recounted in a spirited interview on the BBC's Desert Island Discs, fate stepped in the form of John Bonham. But how did it unfold? Plant arrives at the Waldorf Education Centre only to find Bonham waiting for him at the gate, donned in a chauffeur's cap and ready to whisk him away in a six-door Mercedes. Bonham's antics managed to bring a smile to Plant's face as he found himself being driven to a pub, all in an attempt to persuade him to reconsider leaving music behind. It was a classic case of friendship and camaraderie triumphing over doubt. Bonham's steadfast faith in Plant and their shared passion for music proved to be the turning point. Spurred by Bonham's infectious enthusiasm, Plant decided to stick with Led Zeppelin, at least for the foreseeable future. Little did he know that life had more trials in store that would test his commitment once again. Another heartbreaking loss. In September 1980, the music world was hit with yet another tragic loss, with the passing of John Bonham, the iconic drummer of Led Zeppelin. Since their high school days, Bonham and Robert Plant, both from the Black Country and aspiring musicians, had been inseparable. But Plant was left devastated by Bonham's premature death, and it soon became clear that Led Zeppelin would not continue without him. The circumstances surrounding Bonham's death were as tragic as they were startling. As the band was preparing for their first tour since 1977, it was clear that Bonham's struggle with alcohol addiction had escalated to a dangerous level. Reports revealed that on the day of his demise, he had consumed an alarming 40 units of vodka, painting a bleak picture of his mental state. John Paul Jones, who discovered his bandmate's lifeless body, recounted the distressing ordeal, stating that despite some fleeting moments of hope during rehearsals, Bonham's plunge into alcohol-induced oblivion was undeniable. His tragic end came unexpectedly, the result of a grievous accident. Jones highlighted that such a fate could strike anyone under those circumstances. The news of Bonham's passing struck Plant profoundly, leaving him to grapple with the reality that Led Zeppelin wouldn't be the same without their cherished drummer. Even when Bonham's son, Jason, joined the band for their 2007 Celebration Day concert in London, Plant firmly maintained that without Bonham, a Led Zeppelin reunion was out of the question. When Jason suggested getting back together, Plant's answer was heartfelt and conclusive. "I loved your dad way too much. When your father left us, left the world, that was it for Led Zeppelin." Then an unexpected twist occurred. Robert Plant's vocal challenges. The iconic Robert Plant, known for his electrifying scream and vast vocal range that enthralled Led Zeppelin enthusiasts for years, faced significant vocal difficulties. It's rumored that Plant had surgery on his vocal cords in the 70s, sparking heated debates across online platforms. Some assert it took place, while others remain dubious. The intrigue intensifies when the New York Post includes Plant in a list of singers who underwent procedures to remove vocal nodules in 2012. The precise timing of Plant's rumored surgery is veiled in secrecy, yet keen fans on Reddit speculate it happened between 1972 and 1974, noting a distinct change in his vocal quality during that time. It's turned into a musical mystery, with fans acting as sleuths, trying to unearth the truth behind Plant's vocal adventures. Fast forward to the early 1990s, and Plant faced another critical moment when a voice specialist in London gave a bleak forecast. "In 6 months' time, your voice won't even be able to show signs of surprise. It's over," declared the doctor, a prognosis that threatened to end Plant's illustrious singing career and sent ripples through the music community. Clearly, professional singing takes a toll on the vocal cords. Just look at Elton John and Steven Tyler, who've both navigated through their vocal tempests. Yet Plant wasn't ready to give up. Armed with unwavering resolve, he defied expectations and staged a remarkable comeback, releasing several albums after the vocal scare in the 1990s. What a turn of events. So what can we learn from this narrative? It's a testament that even rock legends like Robert Plant are vulnerable to vocal setbacks. However, with tenacity, a bit of fortune, and perhaps a touch of rock and roll enchantment, they can overcome these challenges and continue to deliver those classic hits. Robert Plant's divorce. The storied Robert Plant, Led Zeppelin's legendary frontman, has experienced his share of romantic turmoil. From penning heartfelt love ballads for his wife to cohabiting with a folk singer, Plant's romantic life has been a whirlwind. It all kicked off with Maureen Wilson, the lady who stole Plant's heart. He was so enamored with her that he dedicated "Thank You" from Led Zeppelin to in her honor, a true romantic gesture. But as is common in the rock and roll scene, the pressures of fame and fortune can challenge even the sturdiest relationships. Following the birth of their daughter Carmen, their once stable marriage began to fracture. While Maureen embraced the role of a stay-at-home mother, Plant was frequently away, touring with the band. He struggled to balance his duties as a father and husband with the temptations of his rock star existence. As he openly confessed, "I'd spent so much time trying to be a decent dad, but at the same time I was really attracted to what I was doing in Zeppelin." Despite their efforts to make it work, they eventually divorced in 1983. Plant didn't remarry, though his romantic life was far from dormant. Post-divorce, he ventured back into dating, yet none of these relationships reached the depth of commitment he had experienced with Maureen. That changed when he met Patty Griffin, a folk singer-songwriter. Their connection was immediate, and soon they were deeply involved. Plant moved in with Griffin in Austin, Texas, where they collaborated on the 2010 Band of Joy album. It appeared Plant had found love anew, yet even this didn't last forever. By 2014, Plant and Griffin had parted ways, prompting his return to England. The breakup was impactful, deeply influencing his 2017 album, Carry Fire. He described the album as a heartfelt expression, noting, "If you listen to the album, you can hear me pouring out my heart to whoever's interested, because that's what I do. And it's not easy to do that, believe me." Robert Plant, a name synonymous with rock and roll glory, has not only left a mark on music, but also on the world through his philanthropy and activism. Over the years, this legendary frontman of Led Zeppelin has lent his support to an array of charitable causes, revealing a heart as powerful as his voice. Among the notable organizations that have benefited from Plant's generosity are Save the Children, MusiCares, and Nordhoff Robbins, each playing a pivotal role in bettering lives through music, care, and support. But Plant's commitment didn't stop at donations and benefit concerts. He took a bold step forward in 2024. This year, Plant became a patron of Good Shepherd, a UK charity with a mission to uplift homeless individuals. Not merely a figurehead, Plant dove into the fabric of the charity, backing an innovative initiative poised to change lives dramatically. The program offers something extraordinary: 2 paid trainee roles specifically designed for those who've endured the hardships of homelessness themselves. Imagine this: once without a home, now not only employed, but also at the heart of a charity striving to end this cycle of despair. It's a powerful testament to the belief that everyone deserves a second chance, a belief that Robert Plant champions passionately. This move isn't just about giving back, it's about giving forward, offering a lifeline to those who need it most, wrapped in the promise of better days. Through his actions, Plant continues to inspire, proving that the spirit of rock can indeed spark real change in the world. Diving deeper into the life of Robert Plant reveals facets of the rock icon that might surprise even his most ardent fans. This legendary vocalist not only shaped the sound of Led Zeppelin, but also has a collection of intriguing, lesser-known aspects to his personality and life. Did you know that Robert Plant would warm up his powerful voice with slow Elvis Presley songs? Yes, the King himself was a vocal prep choice for Plant. It's these slow, soulful tunes that helped him tune up before unleashing his iconic howls on stage. Speaking of songwriting, Plant penned the lyrics to Led Zeppelin's Fool in the Rain, showcasing his knack for crafting evocative stories. Plant's contributions to music haven't gone unnoticed. In 2005, he was honored with the Grammy Lifetime Achievement Award, and a year later he received the prestigious Polar Music Prize, cementing his status in the music pantheon. His eclectic taste in music is evident from his admiration for The Damned and Let's Active. indicating his wide-ranging musical influences. The rock legend also has a unique connection with Elvis Presley. He and his bandmates from Led Zeppelin had the honor of meeting the rock and roll icon. This memorable encounter highlights the cross-generational respect among rock legends. Plant even showcased his lighter side in a rare acting stint for the British film comedy Doreen. Interestingly, Plant once had a chance to appear in Game of Thrones but declined. In a light-hearted interview, he shared that he turned down the role, humorously remarking, "I don't want to be typecast," and revealing that he had never watched the series. In a quirky revelation back in 1974, he was the proud recipient of Rock Scene magazine's Chestorama Award, a testament to his rock star charisma. But it's not all glamour and public appearances. One of Plant's unusual yet grounding backstage rituals includes ironing his clothes before each performance, adding a touch of ordinary to his extraordinary life. Beyond the stage, Plant harbors a deep-seated fear of earthquakes, a phobia that starkly contrasts with his usually fearless persona. However, balancing out this fear is his love for soccer. He actively participates in weekly soccer matches in Kidderminster, showcasing his enduring energy and community spirit. Each of these snippets peels back the layers of Robert Plant's life, revealing a man who is as multifaceted as the music he created. A rock legend not just on stage, but in the nuances of his vibrant life. Robert Plant's personal life has been as colorful and storied as his career in music, marked by moments of both controversy and profound musical collaboration. One of the more startling chapters involves his affair with Audrey Hamilton, a known groupie during his marriage. This relationship not only stirred a considerable amount of public intrigue, but also reportedly inspired the Led Zeppelin song Hot Dog. The track, a playful and somewhat irreverent piece, is said to mirror their tumultuous love story, capturing the highs and lows of their time together in its lyrics and upbeat rhythm. On a different note, Robert Plant's connection with Alison Krauss, while equally talked about, paints a picture of a different kind of partnership. Contrary to swirling rumors, their relationship was strictly professional. Together, they explored their mutual passion for music, resulting in the critically acclaimed album Raising Sand. This collaboration was a fusion of their distinct musical styles, blending rock with bluegrass and country, and it showcased their shared dedication to musical artistry rather than a personal romance. These relationships, one personal and the other professional, highlight different facets of Plant's life, his capacity for both personal drama and professional depth. Each story, whether fueled by romantic passion or artistic synergy, contributes to the complex tapestry that defines Robert Plant's legacy in the music world. Now, at 75, Robert Plant continues to electrify the music scene with his powerful vocals and a career spanning more than 40 years. Known for his iconic screams, Plant has inspired musicians like Freddie Mercury, Axl Rose, and Chris Cornell. Despite his age and considerable achievements, Robert Plant remains as driven as ever. When questioned about the prospect of retirement, he responded with a characteristic wit, "I'll probably retire when I run out of breath." While some of his contemporaries, like Elton John, are contemplating retirement to enjoy more family time, Plant is adamant about continuing his musical journey for as long as possible. At the age of 75, with a net worth of $200 million, Plant still has a deep passion for touring and performing live. He often jokes about retirement, saying, "People used to say to me, 'Well, you must have done enough now.' Enough of what? Enough to retire. So imagine the blessing to be 40 years further down the road, and I still don't know enough to stop in any respect." Continuing to challenge norms and inspire others, Plant is enthusiastic about his craft. He believes, "There's always something new to learn, somewhere new to take it. I love it." And that's why his fans adore him. Robert Plant's life has been nothing short of remarkable, filled with the peaks and valleys of fame, success, personal tragedy, and boundless creativity. In the ever-evolving journey of Robert Plant, 2024 stands as a year of continued musical exploration and expansion. This year, the iconic rocker, alongside Alison Krauss, is hitting the road once again, reigniting the magic that has captivated audiences worldwide. Since the release of their second collaborative album, Raise the Roof, in 2021, Plant and Krauss have not slowed down. Their musical partnership has proven so fruitful that they're adding an impressive 28 dates to their tour this year, starting in June. This follows a successful 2023 North American tour, after which Plant turned his attention to the UK and Europe, performing with his acoustic side project Saving Grace, a venture that showcases his versatility and enduring passion for different musical styles. Looking ahead, the duo's future in music remains bright and ambitious. Plant and Krauss, who first started collaborating in 2007, show no signs of putting their joint musical endeavors on pause. After 2 years of touring in 2022 and 2023, they plan to extend their Raise the Roof tour into a third year, a testament to their harmonious collaboration and the profound connection they share with their fans. Moreover, whispers in the music industry suggest that Robert Plant is contemplating a worldwide tour, slated for the end of 2025, promising yet another thrilling chapter in his illustrious career. This potential global tour would not only mark a significant milestone, but also affirm Plant's relentless pursuit of musical innovation and his desire to connect with audiences across the globe. Robert Plant's current and future projects paint a picture of an artist who refuses to rest on his laurels, constantly seeking new ways to evolve and resonate with fans both old and new. As 2024 unfolds, fans of this rock legend have much to look forward to, with the promise of unforgettable performances and new musical landscapes to explore. As we've journeyed through the life of Robert Plant, we've seen more than just a legendary musician. We've witnessed a man who faced life's harshest melodies with a resilience that resonates deeply. From devastating personal tragedies to the highs of musical triumphs, Robert's story is a testament to the power of perseverance and passion. Life teaches us through our experiences, and Robert Plant's life offers a profound lesson. No matter the obstacles, continue to pursue your passion. Whether it's overcoming personal loss, battling through health scares, or navigating the tumultuous paths of fame and success, Plant shows us that what truly defines us is our ability to keep moving forward. Now we turn to you, our viewers. Robert's journey is filled with moments both uplifting and heart-wrenching. Which part of his story struck a chord with you? Please comment with the letter P if you're a fan of his, and share your thoughts on how his music or life experiences have influenced you. And if you found this video enlightening, don't forget to like and subscribe to iconicinside for more deep dives into the lives of those who've shaped our cultural landscape. Your support helps us keep bringing these stories to light. Thank you for watching, and remember, like Robert Plant, may you never lose your passion for life's journey, no matter the challenges you face. Keep exploring, keep learning, and keep sharing your stories. Chuck Norris broke his oath and revealed the shocking truth about Bruce Lee's death. The untimely demise of Bruce Lee at the tender age of 32 left a legacy enveloped in enigma. Chuck Norris, a close confidant of Lee, had remained quiet about the real circumstances of his friend's death for many years. But in an unexpected development, Norris has broken his silence, revealing information that challenges our previous understanding. Was Lee's death simply a tragic mishap? Or was there a more sinister reality hidden underneath? Accompany us as we explore Chuck Norris's disclosure, revealing the shocking truth about Bruce Lee's last moments. Bruce Lee and Chuck Norris were like two peas in a pod back then. Their connection was incredibly strong, reminiscent of how tight spandex shorts are after an intense workout. Their friendship kicked off at the All-American Karate Open Championship in 1967, where Norris was dominating the competition, snagging the grand prize. At the same event, Bruce was there showcasing his exceptional martial arts skills in a demonstration. Post-event, the two martial arts phenoms struck up a conversation and quickly discovered their mutual interests. Their love for martial arts, an insatiable desire to keep improving, and likely a shared appreciation for flashy footwear and corny jokes. In no time at all, they began training together in Bruce's backyard, reminiscing of children playing together. Bruce was always keen on learning new things from anyone who had something to teach him. Norris introduced him to the concept of high kicks, demonstrating how effective they could be when properly executed. Initially, Bruce was skeptical about the utility of kicks above the waist, but Norris managed to change his viewpoint. Within 6 months, Bruce had perfected his high kicks, making them as lethal as a samurai's blade. In return, Norris found himself captivated by Bruce's lightning-fast speed, immense strength, and the philosophical framework of his innovative Jeet Kune Do style. Jeet Kune Do emphasized fluidity and adaptability, steering clear of the confines of traditional martial arts principles. Its name translates to the way of the intercepting fist. From Bruce, Norris learned the value of humility and the importance of sharing knowledge. As a mentor, Bruce inspired him to push his limits and achieve new heights in his martial arts journey. Norris remembered, "After I won the title, the promoter introduced me to Bruce. And so we started talking about our philosophies in the martial arts and so forth. We were both staying at the same hotel, the Americana in New York, and we started walking out to the hotel together. These two were just like siblings, constantly driving each other towards excellence." One day in 1972, out of the blue, Bruce rang up Norris. He had become a massive sensation in Hong Kong after his initial movies and was ready to take his career even higher. Bruce was plotting an epic fight scene for his latest flick, something cinema had never witnessed, and he wanted Norris to be his co-star for the battle. Without hesitation, Norris was on board, and soon he found himself on a plane to Rome to shoot The Way of the Dragon, with Bruce also serving as the director. The final altercation in the Colosseum between the two is now a timeless classic. They were both giving it their all, laying out their distinctive techniques. Norris with his invincible power and might, Bruce with his astonishing swiftness and agility. Despite Bruce's untimely departure from life, Norris honored his comrade's brilliance. He lauded Bruce as a rare marvel who revolutionized the spheres of martial arts and cinema. Above all, he commemorated Bruce as a modest, sympathetic individual who encouraged Norris to strive for greatness in all areas of life. The connection with the Lee clan continued for Norris. Years later, at a comic convention in San Diego, while providing a martial arts exhibition to the attendees, Norris shared his insights into Bruce Lee's untimely passing. Chuck was intimately close with Bruce and the Lee family, knowledgeable about the health struggles Bruce faced and his intense dedication to training. Chuck said, "And he tried to lift 2 heavy weights, and he ruptured the disc in his back, and he was laid up in the hospital for 3 weeks. In fact, the doctor said they didn't know if he'd be able to walk again or not." According to Chuck, Bruce had a tendency to push himself to the extreme in his training endeavors, obsessively working on building muscle. In 1968, while performing an exercise called Good Mornings, essentially a deep forward bend with significant weight on his shoulders, Bruce severely injured his back, causing a ruptured spinal disc, which nearly left him incapacitated. The doctors warned Bruce he might not walk properly again, yet Bruce, known for his stubbornness, largely ignored medical advice to slow down and allow himself to heal. Instead, he plunged right back into his demanding workout regimen, as per Chuck's account. Bruce couldn't stand the thought of remaining inactive for too long. Additionally, Bruce had an extraordinarily quick metabolism, which led him to consume a hefty amount of protein, vitamins, and various extraordinary supplements like ginseng and royal jelly in his quest to gain mass. Chuck believed Bruce had a borderline dependency on these substances for an extra energy boost. Another of Bruce's habits was extreme water consumption. He was intent on detoxifying his body and would drink nearly 10 liters of water daily, taking the concept of hydration to an extreme. Fast forward to 1973, Bruce was in Hong Kong working on his latest project, Game of Death, and collaborating with actress Betty Ting Pei, who was, on the down low, also romantically involved with him. Bruce experienced a severe headache, and Betty offered him one of her own prescription painkillers, which unknowingly to Bruce included aspirin. Unfortunately, Bruce had an allergy to aspirin, and the combination of that with his regimen of supplements and an excessive water intake led to a severe bodily reaction. Chuck's theory posits that this reaction caused Bruce's brain to swell significantly, a condition called cerebral edema. To explain further, this swelling in the brain's blood vessels can lead to the destruction of brain cells and is often an urgent, life-threatening medical condition caused by various factors like trauma or overdose. Chuck detailed that after ingesting the pill, Bruce simply laid down to rest on Betty's bed and didn't awaken again. The swelling in his brain reportedly took his life right there. This haunting hypothesis comes from someone who was very close to Bruce. However, not everyone is convinced by Chuck's explanation. Bruce Lee's death has been shrouded in various other theories, ranging from unlikely to outrageous. Some suggest he was poisoned by the Hong Kong underworld, or even that he was the victim of an ancient familial curse. Imaginations run wild around this topic. One speculative scenario suggests Bruce Lee's untimely end was no accident or health-related tragedy, but rather a deliberate act on the part of the Triads, the notorious Chinese criminal organization known for its substantial presence in Hong Kong's underworld. Why would the Triads target the Little Dragon, you wonder? There are a number of potential motives attributed to these nefarious figures. First, Bruce was disrupting the status quo with his cinematic portrayal of Chinese martial arts. He tossed aside time-honored traditions in favor of his own groundbreaking methods through Jeet Kune Do. This contempt for convention reportedly irked the traditional martial arts gurus in Hong Kong, who purportedly had ties to the Triads and viewed Bruce's modern style as a disregard for their time-honored practices and values, essentially overlooking the original Grand Masters. Elaborating further, it's been whispered that the Triads wanted a piece of the fortune Bruce was amassing from his hit films. Allegedly, when he rebuffed their steep demands for a share of his earnings, they decided he had crossed them. Another narrative points to Bruce's notorious charm with women, suggesting he was romantically entwined with Triad-associated actress Betty Ting Pei, stirring up envies and resulting in potential retribution from those envious of his liaisons. The prevailing conjecture among those who believe in the Triad involvement theory is that they might have executed Bruce using an arcane martial arts method called the Dim Mak, also known as the Death Touch. This technique is said to involve striking crucial pressure points on the body to cause internal injury or even complete system failure. It's theorized that the Triads could have coerced or hired someone from Bruce's past who had mastered Dim Mak to strike him using this lethal method. They might have also facilitated the assault by drugging or poisoning Bruce to weaken his defenses. Supporting this theory is a bit of indirect evidence. Bruce had been on the receiving end of several threatening messages prior to his death, which could have been from the Triads. Oddly, when Bruce passed, his body displayed various bruises and marks, suggesting needle punctures, allegedly a signature of Dim Mak killers. Furthermore, following Bruce's death, there occurred a series of mysterious fatalities and vanishings within his close network, as if someone was eliminating witnesses who might have had knowledge of Triad actions against Bruce Lee. Whether you're convinced by this hypothesis or not, it ranks as one of the most outlandish and exciting explanations for Bruce's untimely death at 32. The concept is akin to the infamous Kennedy family curse. Bruce Lee's family is said to have been subjected to a similar malediction, purported to have affected them for centuries. According to law, this curse doomed male family members to premature and often tragic ends. This curse narrative traces back to the ancestral roots of the Lee family during the times of feudal China. Among the Lee predecessors were notable warriors who had ostensibly caused offense somewhere along the line. The most widely circulated account attributes the curse to the retaliation of an aggrieved sorcerer against one General Li Yuan of the Tang dynasty. Known for his dogged loyalty to the emperor, General Li Yuan made an adversary of a sorcerer aligned with a group of rebels. On his deathbed, the sorcerer was said to have unleashed a curse that would haunt Li Yuan's lineage, ensuring no male descendant would live beyond the age of 33, a chilling piece of family legend. Indeed, the plot thickens with suggestions that the curse goes back even beyond the Tang dynasty, to General Li's offspring during the Song dynasty. This descendant betrayed the emperor by siding with invading Mongol forces. In retribution, the emperor's sorcerer supposedly cast a hex on Li's sons and all following generations, cursing them to die via conflagration or violence, adding an extra layer to the eerie narrative surrounding the Li family. This series of Li family calamities was a real concern for Bruce's parents, especially after the loss of their first son under enigmatic conditions. They wholeheartedly believed in the curse's existence and took unconventional steps with Bruce, whom they affectionately nicknamed Little Phoenix, like dressing him in girls' attire and piercing his ears from a young age. They hoped these measures would conceal his gender and thus confound any malevolent forces targeting Li men. The fear of the curse extended to Bruce's birth name, John Fan, which translates to return again. His parents feared that even speaking his given name could entice the curse to claim their son forever. Throughout Bruce's upbringing, they were persistently anxious, seeking prophecies from soothsayers regarding his destiny. Predictions of unparalleled success and fame were tempered by warnings of great dangers and a prematurely troubled life. The spectre of the curse loomed over the family, casting longer shadows when Bruce indeed met a tragic end at 32, perilously close to the age specified by the supposed curse. His death from cerebral edema carried grim echoes of his grandfather's demise to the same condition. This notion of a family curse gained further credibility with the untimely death of Bruce's son Brandon at 28, in a freak accident on the set of The Crow. If you like this video, please leave a number 9 in the comments below. For many, the confluence of bizarre and sorrowful events befalling the Lee men is hauntingly inexplicable. The enduring mystery lends some credence to the theory of a family curse, particularly for those inclined towards paranormal explanations. Consider the details of Bruce's departure on July 20th, 1973. The sweltering heat that day, reaching 93° F, and his passing occurred precisely in the year of the dragon and during the hour of the dragon, which aligned with Bruce's own zodiac sign. Such uncanny coincidences contribute to the fascination and speculation about his life and legacy, leaving the question of an ancient curse as an eerily enigmatic footnote to his story. Linda, Bruce Lee's widow, was firmly of the belief that her husband had a premonition of his own death. She recounted that just days before his passing, he had been visited by a macabre dream where he faced his own mortality, conveying the details to her with a grim sense of inevitability. Adding to the eerie narrative, Bruce himself had hinted at being pursued by a malignant force. He had expressed experiences of being plagued by a vile spirit, something that even seemed to surface in his art. In his films like The Way of the Dragon and The Incomplete Game of Death, there appear allusions to these ethereal confrontations. Take the famous mirror sequence in The Way of the Dragon, where Bruce, against a mind-bending backdrop, executes movements that some believe were a metaphorical exorcism of his demonic stalker. All these unsettling elements, the morbidly prophetic dreams, signs of otherworldly torment, the meaningful dates, times, and filmic symbolism lend the curse theory a significant weight. Bruce's untimely death seemingly fulfilled the foreboding checklist associated with the curse. The narrative intensified when Bruce's son Brandon tragically died under shockingly similar circumstances. An accidental shooting during the filming of The Crow claimed his life at just 28 years old. The echo of his father's fate, their premature and violent ends occurring in parallel settings involved with film production, was alarming and difficult for many to dismiss as mere coincidence. The cosmic improbability heightened when Brandon died just before Dragon, the Bruce Lee story, was set to release. Astoundingly, that biopic included a scene where Bruce combats a phantom menacing both him and his child. Within this context, the deaths of Bruce and Brandon Lee seemed orchestrated by some sinister narrative force, painting their ends as if by a morose scriptwriter. The Lee family curse, while a legend rooted in ancient mythos, continues to cast an inescapable pall over their legacy. To those who believe, it's an eerie shadow that has stubbornly clung to their lineage, a spectral presence that might never be dispelled, illustrating how deeply and perhaps irreversibly the idea of the curse has embedded itself in the tale of the Lee family. Let's delve into the heartbreaking, unexpected incident that claimed the life of Brandon Lee, the sole offspring of Bruce and the presumed successor to his father's remarkable legacy. The news reported, tragedy, it seems, runs in the family. Bruce Lee was a movie star who died young and became a legend. Now his son Brandon is gone as well, fatally wounded while starring in a movie. On the fateful day of March 31st, 1993, Brandon Lee, at 28 years old, was immersed in the production of The Crow, a film that veered away from the martial arts genre into the realm of dark and brooding drama, akin to the philosophical undertones his father, Bruce Lee, had embraced toward the end of his own film career. The Crow told the tale of a man who comes back from the dead with supernatural abilities to seek retribution for both his and his fiancée's murders, a poignant role that seemed to hold special significance for Brandon. He poured everything into the role, channeling the passion for cinema that his father had bequeathed to him, infusing genuine intensity into every scene. During the shooting of a pivotal sequence meant to depict his character's murder by criminals, a stunt meant to carry no real danger ended in calamity. The firearm in use, which should have been loaded only with harmless blanks, tragically had a dormant dummy bullet lodged within its barrel, a catastrophic oversight. When the trigger was pulled, the blocked bullet expelled from the gun as if it were a live round and struck Brandon with fatal force in the abdomen, inflicting devastating injuries. The event unfolded with nightmarish swiftness, with cast and crew in disbelief as the severity of the catastrophe dawned upon them amidst the dim, chaotic ambience of the set. With Brandon gravely wounded and fading before their eyes, emergency measures were taken in a desperate attempt to save his life. He was rushed into surgery, fighting through hours of excruciating pain, only to pass away later that night due to the grievous nature of his injuries. The accident was a heart-wrenching echo of the perilous stunts Bruce Lee himself was known for, a tragic replication of the risk that comes with pursuing cinematic realism. Such a senseless loss of a promising young talent only added to the haunting aura that seemed to enshroud the Lee family, a stark and somber end to the would-be heir of an extraordinary legacy. The overwhelming sorrow and shock that Brandon Lee's family and friends experienced following his tragic accident are beyond comprehension. For his mother, his fiancée, and those who were close to him, the loss was profound, a torment magnified by the harrowing parallel to the loss once suffered on a movie set by his legendary father. Shannon Lee, Brandon's sister, saw her world torn apart yet again. She and Brandon had idolized Bruce, and his untimely death had left a deep scar on them. With Brandon's passing, Shannon faced the devastating task of confronting a familiar heartache, the magnitude of which seemed almost unbearable. "He made such a huge impact in the world. There's nowhere I can go where people don't know who he is," Shannon expressed, grief evident in her voice, reflecting on her brother's profound impact. At the funeral, Chuck Norris, Bruce Lee's friend, Brandon's former brother-in-law and martial arts mentor, was visibly devastated. It was as though he had lost two members of his own family, with the grim fates of Bruce and his son. The depth of his sorrow was clear for all to see as he tried to come to terms with the magnitude of their loss. Naturally, the entire scenario was exacerbated by an unavoidable, bitter legal dispute over the responsibility for Brandon's untimely death, with whistleblowers, accusations, and negligence lawsuits flying from all directions. All the while, mourning family members were simply attempting to come to terms with the unimaginable situation. Bruce Lee's funeral in Hong Kong in 1973 was marked by dramatic and chaotic scenes. As Lee's hearse began its journey, his grief-stricken fans couldn't contain their emotions. A force of 300 policemen had to form a human chain to restrain the frenzied crowd. The police were compelled to evacuate women and children to prevent them from being crushed in the surge. According to author Matthew Polly, old men wept, young girls fainted, and many people were hospitalized for shock and minor injuries. Matthew Polly is an author who has extensively researched and written about Bruce Lee, particularly in his book Bruce Lee, A Life. The chaos didn't end at the funeral home. The police had to patrol the streets for hours, using loudspeakers to urge people to return to their homes. Yet many loyal fans refused to leave, hoping to be near their hero one last time. The crowd outside the funeral parlor swelled tremendously as Bruce Lee's wife Linda arrived. Polly wrote that according to the China Mail, for the scores of fans who had stayed the night, the saddest moment was the arrival of Lee's wife, Linda. The outpouring of grief from Bruce Lee's fans led to chaos and near stampedes at the funeral home and on the streets of Hong Kong as his hearse departed. Many people were injured in the frenzied scenes. The massive crowds refused to disperse even after the funeral, wanting to remain close to their idol one final time. This poignant display of love and respect for Bruce Lee underscores the profound impact he had on his fans. Before his life was tragically cut short, Brandon Lee was on the brink of making his own significant impact on the world of cinema. At 28, as both a martial artist and actor, he demonstrated immense potential to continue his father's legacy, possibly even to surpass it. Heading into his work on The Crow, Brandon had already compiled a noteworthy collection of notable roles in action films that showcased his intense dedication and raw aptitude. His standout performances in underrated movies like Rapid Fire and the action-packed Showdown in Little Tokyo radiated with the kind of charismatic presence that promised he was en route to stardom. There was tangible excitement surrounding Brandon's path, the anticipation that he was ready to take flight in a major way to make his mark as a standout talent in his own right, distinct from Bruce's towering influence. But the abrupt end to his bright trajectory left us only with ponderings of what might have been, ponderings steeped in a deep sense of loss over a second-generation martial arts prodigy, whose potential was extinguished far too prematurely. Shifting from this poignant reflection, we witness another intriguing brush with fate within the martial arts film industry. Jackie Chan shares an inspirational anecdote linked to Bruce Lee, a serendipitous event that would alter the course of his life. Chan reminisces about a key moment, a time when he was just beginning his career and working as a stuntman. During the filming of Enter the Dragon, the movie that cemented Bruce Lee's international stardom, Jackie Chan was among the many, striving for a foothold in the burgeoning Hong Kong action movie scene. To Chan, Bruce Lee was nothing short of a hero, a formidable force in the industry, merging his electrifying martial arts prowess with compelling screen presence. For a fledgling stuntman like Chan, encountering Lee was to stand in the presence of a mythic figure. While prepping for an intense battle scene, Jackie Chan was plunged into the fervor and seriousness of the moment. This scene was not just any action sequence, it was destined to leave a mark. With Bruce Lee, everything on set was about the real deal. No cinematic illusions, just pure, unadulterated action. As the cameras captured what could easily be likened to a tempest of martial arts, with precise and expertly executed combat choreography, an unforeseen event unfolded. Due to a misstep, Jackie found himself at the wrong end of a fierce kick from Bruce Lee, one that wasn't part of the scripted action, a kick that resonated through his very being, dropping him to the floor in an instant. The impact left Jackie's mind spinning. He had just been struck by perhaps the greatest martial artist in the world, and he braced for Bruce to carry on without a second thought, as Chan was a mere face in the crowd of stuntmen in Bruce's realm. Instead, the iconic Bruce Lee defied expectations. In a moment that Jackie would never forget, Lee approached him rapidly, his face showing genuine concern. He extended a helping hand, lifting Jackie up and asking for forgiveness, ensuring the young man was unharmed. "Suddenly my eyes are black because he's just one stick right on my head," Jackie conveyed the intensity of the moment. That simple gesture of compassion from the world's most famed martial artist created a profound and lasting impression on Jackie. Here was Bruce Lee, a monumental figure in the martial arts community, demonstrating profound respect for even an unnamed extra on his set. This contradicted the prevailing tough demeanor typically ascribed to action stars of the time. Following this experience, Jackie's perception of Bruce transcended his martial prowess and film charisma. Fundamentally, he came to appreciate Bruce as a man of humility, who honored everyone contributing to his cinematic craft. If you like this video, please leave a number 9 in the comments below. Jackie Chan took the lesson implicit in that defining kick to heart through his ensuing career. As he stepped into the limelight to become a leading actor himself, he strived to emulate Bruce's example of professional integrity and assiduousness. He focused on performing awe-inspiring stunts himself, eschewing stunt doubles much like his hero. Determined to reach the peak of the action genre, Jackie was committed to preserving the authentic portrayal that Bruce Lee advocated. Every leap, every kick that audiences saw was indeed Jackie himself, risking his safety to deliver authentic and heart-stopping action on screen. Like Bruce Lee, Jackie Chan understood that martial arts prowess wasn't the sole ingredient for cinematic success. Charisma and an engaging on-screen personality were just as crucial to captivate audiences. His fights might have been breathtaking, but it was the charming blend of humor and affable character that would make him a bona fide star. Jackie's signature film style, which combined intense action with comedic flair, would resonate through blockbuster hits like Rumble in the Bronx and the Rush Hour series, captivating and entertaining audiences globally as they marveled at the stunts and laughed through the one-liners. Despite his meteoric rise in the martial arts film industry, Jackie never forgot the humility Bruce Lee exhibited during that momentous day, a memory that served as a grounding touchstone throughout his stardom. If ever he risked becoming engulfed by his success, the remembrance of Bruce's considerate gesture served as a humble reminder. The life lessons acquired from his brief time with Bruce of staying down to earth and valuing the contributors to your dream were visibly manifest in the strong connections Jackie maintained with his stunt crew and team. When Bruce Lee's life was abruptly ended in 1973 at the young age of 32, Jackie, alongside the rest of the world, was left in shock. As speculation and conspiracy theories raged, Jackie steered clear of those narratives, choosing instead to honor Bruce's memory as an iconic and diligent vanguard whose path he aspired to emulate. Through his own remarkable journey, Jackie sought to bring to fruition the promise he saw in Bruce, a global ambassador for martial arts cinema, enhancing international respect for East Asian culture. As his own legend grew, Jackie never forgot the foundation laid by Bruce Lee's influence on his life and career. That serendipitous kick and the gracious reaction that followed remained a powerful and defining episode. The encounter was brief, but for Jackie it was a profound opportunity to witness the humanity of a legend, forever shaping the ethos that would define his own approach to fame and success. From that pivotal moment forward, Jackie committed himself to sharing Bruce Lee's story of kindness and humanity with anyone willing to hear. The legacy Bruce left for Jackie transcended mere martial arts techniques or entertainment prowess. Instead, it endowed him with a profound lesson in humility and grace, a benchmark for not merely excelling in one's craft, but doing so with a deep sense of gratitude, humility, and a steadfast connection to one's origins. The brief intersection of paths between two such monumental figures as Bruce and Jackie serves as a testament to the remarkable legacies that can be sparked from even the briefest of encounters. Indeed, when legends of such caliber as Bruce and Jackie cross paths, even momentarily, it's an instance where legends are undeniably forged. Bruce Lee's legacy and impact are both far-reaching and enduring. He was a trailblazer in the realm of Asian representation, being one of the first Asian actors to portray strong, heroic lead roles in Hollywood. This broke stereotypes and paved the way for greater Asian representation in the film industry. As an Asian American actor, Lee inspired many others to pursue careers in film and media, providing a role model that was previously lacking. Lee is also widely regarded as one of the greatest martial artists of all time, known for his unparalleled skill, speed, and philosophy. His fighting style and screen presence inspired countless martial artists around the world and transformed the perception of Asian martial arts. Beyond film and martial arts, Bruce Lee has become a global cultural icon, recognized instantly worldwide. His philosophies, style, and persona have influenced diverse fields from sports to hip-hop, making him a truly cross-cultural phenomenon. Even 50 years after his untimely death, Bruce Lee's legacy continues to inspire new generations. His image, films, and teachings remain highly relevant and sought after. The Bruce Lee Foundation works to preserve and share his legacy through exhibits, youth programs, and community initiatives around the world. The enigma surrounding Bruce Lee's death on July 20th, 1973, when he was just 32 years old, continues to intrigue us. The official cause of death was a cerebral edema triggered by hypersensitivity to equagesic, a painkiller. This explanation, however, has been disputed. Despite Lee having taken equagesic before without any adverse effects and the absence of typical signs of salicylate overdose, the official cause remains under scrutiny. In addition, rumors of assassination by various mafia groups have circulated, but these claims lack concrete evidence. Adding to the mystery, the premature deaths of Lee's son Brandon and his older brother have led to speculation about a family curse, but this lacks any medical basis. Interestingly, cannabis was found in Lee's stomach, but it's unlikely to have caused acute intoxication. Another theory of heatstroke was suggested due to the warm weather on the day of his death and Lee's prior episode of profuse sweating. But the autopsy did not show signs of multi-organ dysfunction typical of heatstroke. Furthermore, there is no evidence of cardiovascular comorbidity, and no positive toxicology report for cocaine was announced. Lee had a seizure that was diagnosed as cerebral edema, but there was no chronic epilepsy, and Lee was on anti-epileptic drugs. Recently, a theory proposed by kidney specialists suggests that Lee's death could have been caused by drinking too much water, leading to hyponatremia. This theory is based on the fact that Lee drank water before experiencing headache and dizziness, and the possibility that his kidneys were unable to excrete excess water. In conclusion, while the official cause of Bruce Lee's death is hypersensitivity to equagesic, various alternative theories have been proposed. However, none of these theories have been definitively proven, and the true cause of his death remains a topic of speculation and debate. What are your thoughts on what led to Lee's tragic passing? Share your views, and if you're a fan, drop a B to honor his memory. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to Iconic for more thought-provoking content. And until next time, keep fighting the good fight.